Hello, guys. It's me, World on Fire. Let's get started. I haven't been around in the last couple of days. I've been giving my channel some time to rest and let people join and catch up on the videos and all that. Today, I want to talk about my good old-fashioned, what I do best, women, MGTOW, and Bible. So today, we're going to talk about what everybody says. All women are just like that. We are going to speak today about the AWOLs. Oh, and by the way, bear with me. Pretty soon I should be receiving a new microphone, which should allow for a much better YouTube recording, despite the fact that when I make other videos, the sound is just great, except for when it comes to a live stream. Now, back to my video topic of today: men, women, MGTOW, marriage, and religion. I'm going to use basic personalities and human beings to show to you that God is real. So even if you doubt that God is real, let me show you just in personalities how he is real. You remember all the way back in the beginning of the day when God made the planet Earth, after he cursed the serpent for tricking Eve into eating the apple, he punished Eve as well. And he told Eve that you will go forth and you shall bear children in great pain and suffering. And through that pain and suffering, you'll be able to cleanse yourself to be forgiven in my eyes. That's what God is pretty much saying to all females out there. That women are pretty narcissistic when they finally have the responsibility of growing a child in their stomachs and to give birth and to bring this child into a lifetime, they learn to become responsible human beings. That is the hope. That is the redemption of females. Now, God even makes it very clear that women have to be redeemed while men just have to be forgiven in his eyes. In other words, if a man just says, hey, Lord, I'm sorry for my sins, I repent, that's enough. But that's not enough for females. Females have to earn it through their lifetime by being good to men. That's actually the commandment of the Lord, that if a woman wants to be good in his eyes, she has to be good to a man. You see, God is 1000% MGTOW. He is man-orientated. And he gave us females so that females could help us and make us better people. where we sink, they would help us swim. That's the entire job of females. Now, there have been men in the past that took advantage of that power. The one that says, go get me a sandwich, bitch, and shut the fuck up. There are those men out there, sure. But we're not talking about those rare situations. We are talking about the general deal, what woman's job was in this world for man. She was here to provide for man. And the better she takes care of man, the better she actually is in the eyes of the Lord. It clearly says in the Bible, too, that any woman that actually gets a divorce and marries a different man is actually committing adultery. If we look at the United States today, with the 89% applicants being females for a divorce, you can clearly see the amount of adulterous women that are living there. Be right back, 1 second. Now, as I was saying, I can prove by female personality that God is real. I'll show you how. Many men today say, NAWALT, AWOLT, all women are like that. They're born that way. They're natural born sinners. They're evil by nature. If you read the Bible, there's a thing called original sin. And in the original sin, it's the moment when Eve ate the apple and she learned all the knowledge. That's the original sin. Now we are born into knowledge. We are born into this world knowing things. We are born with the given gift from Satan to learn and educate ourselves and to enlighten ourselves and to illuminate ourselves. That's because Eve decided to eat that apple. So what's the funny thing about this is when we look today at females, we see that females are almost on the same level as animals are. Mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, they are on the same levels as animals. They want the highest breed. They want the strongest of the strongest, the fittest of the fittest, the one with the most resources. It's all about earthly income. It's all about earthly resources for them. That's primordial. That's predator. That's female. But that spirit and that mentality goes away when they grow up. The only time they grow up is during childbearing, child carrying, and childbirth. And that's how they get redeemed into proper, decent women. They actually are, women are butterflies. They are a caterpillar that sets into the cocoon, sits in there for 9 months, and when the child comes out, she is reborn as well. So what we have here is a very clear pattern of females today who are acting very animalistic. And the only reason they could act animalistic in the first place is if they had the original sin. Where is it coming from? Do you really believe that all these females are being educated throughout their lifetime to become fucking narcissistic? Or do you think they already have the natural traits inside of them and these traits are being encouraged through their lifetime? They're not being taught how to be narcissistic. They already know how to be. They're just being encouraged to do so. The legal system, the society, everything is allowing their narcissism to blossom and to create this perfect total narcissist. Look what society is doing. But nobody's planting the original seed. The seed is already there. That's the original sin. So why are women so different from men? Because man was made full. Man was made pure. Man was made whole. Man was made with all the knowledge in the universe. God gave it to Adam. Over time, we have lost a lot of it, but we used to originally have it. This is why man is smarter than woman. This is why man is stronger. This is why man can see further down the road than a female can. No woman can look down the road. No woman can. No woman can look down the road. No woman will ever sit there and consider, if I sleep with this guy tonight, I might get pregnant tomorrow. You never see these women actually going out thinking about what the risks are going to be of their behaviors. You never see them go out thinking, if I do this, the repercussions will be that. They don't do that. Only men do that. The reason is that we were given all that knowledge. Females were not. So females have a very simple task in this life: to serve man, to make man better, to love man, to worship man, to put man on a pedestal. And yet we have swapped it around now where men are putting females on a pedestal. And this is dead wrong. Now you are worshiping females and you are no longer worshiping your God. As I said before, man answers to God, females answers to man. So if a woman worships a man, that's totally fine, because she is worshiping her husband according to what God wants her to do. So therefore, she is fulfilling her role as a sexual human being, as a human being as well. There's a reason why females are supposed to be submissive. And there's a reason why feminists attack that exact same issue. Look what the feminists attacked: femininity and submission in females. Why did they do that? Because they knew that those two rules are the rules that are needed for a strong, reliable family. Be right back again. Back again. So as I was saying, females have to be redeemed in this world. Men do not. And even though men do not have to be redeemed, men carry a greater responsibility. We carry the responsibility of adulthood at already the age of 14, 15, 16 already. So while females are on average getting drunk, getting laid, and acting very stupid at that age, men are learning how to drive their cars, finishing high school, finishing college, getting a degree, and getting ready for the big world. You see the difference there? And even your television shows today promote the same kind of fucking promiscuity, where females don't go to college, don't go to school, act like Jezebels, and rely off men. The way that the world is today, females are set up to be parasites. Very simple. They're acting very parasitic. They can take care of themselves. There are plenty of job opportunities for females out there today. There's nothing stopping them from getting an actual job. Nothing. But they choose to become mothers instead. Easy street, easy life, easy road. Get married for 2 years, get divorced, take half his shit. Easy life, easy road. Now, as I was saying about the original sin, what we are seeing today are females rejecting God. And because they're rejecting God, the following is happening. They are no longer developing. They're no longer mentally developing. How many men today, above the age of 30, have dated an average woman around his age, but yet she seemed like she was 7 or 8 years old? They are in a state of arrested development, and they will always be until they finally turn to Jehovah and finally make that step across that they need to make. They need to make that leap. They need to make that jump in life, but they are not doing it. And this is why abortion is even happening. This is why even females even condone abortion in the first place. Think about it. How could a female condone the murder of a child? Try that in the Lion family. Have a bunch of females try to kill another female's child and see what happens. It won't happen. It's against nature. We are seeing a lot of things in this world today that are going against nature, and it's all coming from the female world. There's a reason for this. It's to destroy. It's to destroy the family unit, the family life, and the family stability. It's to get men paying a lot of alimony and taxes and a lot of revenue while females live the easy life. So what we really have here, folks, is a simple case. If females turn back to God, they would be a lot better. They would be the women that men want to marry. And marriage itself wouldn't even be under attack. And if the laws would not have been changed. You see, the laws have been changed by the ungodly. Everything that you know today that is wrong and rebellious comes from the ungodly, not the godly. As I've shown you in the April Cassidy videos, a woman who's been married for 25 years and who is a genuine Christian woman who submits to her husband, who makes love to her husband all the time, cooks for him, cleans for him, takes care of him, and even praises him. How many men today dream of a woman like that? A woman who will praise you, cook for you, look up to you, stand up and say, "This is my husband, I'm proud of him." How many women are out there today like that? None, because they've all turned away from God. You see, if you want the family life, you're going to have to turn back to God, because the family comes from God. It does not come from the devil. And this feminism and this atheism and all this other theism crap all comes directly from Satan, folks. And if you live with it, then you pay the price for it. I'm a person that stands up against it and says, hell no, this is fucking wrong. This is evil. This is reverseism. And as I've told you before, the devil does everything in reverse. So now we have females leading instead of men. Females getting higher paid jobs than men. Men quitting school while females are leading now in college degrees. It's all reverseism. So until you all acknowledge the fact that you are living in a world that's backwards from reality, then you will never come out of the matrix. You will never step out of the matrix. And the first really great step to step out of the matrix is to finally accept what you have been refusing to accept. Instead of going along with the programming, instead of sucking it up and taking it up the ass to go along with the programming, go against the programming. Then you will notice the changes that need to be made. Then you will see how far the matrix has sucked people in. Then you'll understand, and that's how you'll get out. You have to go against the programming. You have to go against the matrix. You have to stand up for what's right. You have to stand up for what's good. As is right now, 89% of all applications for divorce are filed by women. That is not an accident, folks. You can't tell me that women are that stupid that they can't even pick a decent man. They're doing it on purpose. They're seeing marriage as an income source, as a job opportunity. And since you don't have to be married very long to get half of his stuff, this is why we keep seeing that marriages are dying so fast. I guarantee you, if you had to be 15 years married before you got alimony, that would change the entire situation. If we made a law that said, no, you have to be married for 10 years before you finally get alimony, that would change the entire situation. That would change the whole entire playing field for females. But we don't do that. We allow it to be the way that it is. 1 year marriage, boom, half his stuff. Women are to blame. Women are at fault. But it is also men who have not stood up against females for the longest time, for 60 years, who have allowed females to go this far and never put their foot down. I am one of those MGTOWers that are putting his foot down. And I am a genuine MGTOW. I am a man going my own way, meaning I will never, ever, 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 ever go back to being with a woman. Ever again. They are not worth my time. They are not worth my efforts. They are not worth my energy, and they sure as shit do not deserve any of my love. The love that I could generate is a lot more just in my pinky than they have in their entire bodies. They don't even know how to do it. All they've ever learned is to be selfish and egotistical. So they have no caring for you. They have no love for you. So why even play the game? Just step out of the game. Say no, step out of the matrix, give it up, let it go. And when you do that, you'll notice that the world is not changing back to the way that men want it. There are now posts out there of females joining a group called Manonism. This is exactly what I told you all 3 years ago that would happen. I've always said to you, men influence females. If men opt out, if men say no, females have no choice but to go along. Despite the fact that they think that they're all freedom fighters, despite the fact that they all think that they're rebels without a clue, despite them all thinking they had their fucking sexual fucking revolution, it doesn't fucking matter. If men say we're going to go right, eventually we are all going to go right. It always comes down to what men want. What you see right now is men opting out of marriage. You see men right now leaving marriage, MGTOW men standing up. And what do you see happening? Marriage crumbling, relationships falling apart, women crying that they need more money, women crying that men are not wanting to marry them anymore. Whatever men want will become reality. Always remember that. Because we are Adam. We are all Adam. Every one of us is Adam. We were given the knowledge. We were given the power. We were given the strength. Females do not have it. As a matter of fact, every man out there who has ever been hurt by a woman, I can guarantee him this promise. The only reason you were ever hurt by a woman in the first place is because you gave her power over your life. You let her into your heart. You let her into your bank account. You let her into your house. You let her into your life. And because you did that, you got fucked over. Because you trusted her, you got fucked over. Because you cared, you got fucked over. Because you loved, you got fucked over. Right, guys? Tell me I'm wrong. Not one of you can say that I'm wrong. And there's a reason for that as well. Men control the planet, not females. And it's high time that men got back into shape and started taking back what belongs to us before we all drive ourselves off the fucking cliff. Because already, many men have just walked off that cliff right now because the females are just pushing men off that cliff. It's just time for men to start beating back down on females, retaking control, and taking back our governments as well. To make our governments learn to shut the fuck up, stay the fuck out of our relationships. They have no business telling us how to raise our kids. They have no business telling us how to raise our families. They have no right to say that we cannot own private housing. They have no right. They have no right. They have no right. And we as men need to start taking back what belongs to us and give nothing back. It is high time for humanity to stand up and say, we are human beings. We do not need the conglomerates running our lives. We do not need governmental control. We don't need peace and security instead of freedom. We don't need that. As a matter of fact, folks, the whole entire reason America right now is having problems with the police state is because the females are asking for the police state. Do you understand that, guys out there? Please listen to this very clearly. You men out there who do not even understand how we are having a police state in the first place do not understand that it is the females out there crying for security, crying for security, crying for security. It is not men. It is the females out there that are crying for security. And now you have given them voting rights and you have allowed them to bring in a female presidential candidate. Do you understand what is going to happen? Very simply put, if that bitch Hillary becomes president, all the females are going to start voting for whatever she wants to have happen. And if Hillary wants America to go to war, all the men will go to war while the females stay behind. This is why you never give females voting power in the first place, because they don't vote on rationality. They don't vote on common sense. They don't vote on promises. And they don't hold the people to the promises that they have to maintain. Haven't you all learned anything from Obama and his change? He's brought you change. He's taken you from a Judaic Christian country and brought you into a Muslim country. He's brought you the change that you asked for. none of you hold them accountable, do you? None of you actually say, okay, it's actually time to hold this guy accountable. Nah, why? Meanwhile, you got the females crying out, rape culture, we need more protection, we need more protection. If you do not stop your women and control your women, your country will go off the edge of the cliff. Guaranteed 100% promise. As a matter of fact, it was even done before in the past with the Roman era. Before the Romans got sacked, they let the females loose because they know that the females are good for one thing, nihilism. If you can depend on a female for anything, you can depend on them for this, nihilism. At all times, whenever you need to have a nihilist around you, you can get a female. Guaranteed, 100%, always ready to go, the female nihilist. So if you want to sack a country really quick, if you want to drain the population really quick, if you want to make sure that a country becomes unstable very quick, what do? You release the females. You release the Kraken. Females are nihilistic by nature because they do not outgrow the original sin. As I said to you before, original sin is where they are born in sin. They have to be forgiven by God. And if they are not forgiven by God, they will constantly stay in this perpetual teenage mentality, which all the men in the world today are seeing in females. The 35-year-old men that are getting together with 30-year-old women are finding out that these 30-year-old women have a mentality of a 7-year-old. And the reason for that is because these females are stuck in arrested development. And this development will not happen until they are finally held responsible for their own deeds and own behaviors. If they have no issues in life, if they have no responsibilities in life, if they have no repercussions for their deeds in life, then they have no reason to develop themselves. So as long as men keep wiping the slate clean for females, as long as men keep going around saying, it's okay, honey, it's okay, dear, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you. As long as men keep doing that, and you're creating your own nihilism. You're creating your own destruction. If you do not hold females accountable for their deeds, then they have no reason to grow up. Look at all the biblical women. They were all of them were held accountable for their deeds. If they cheated on their husband, they get stoned to death. Do you not see this? All the females back then were held accountable for their deeds, and they made great, beautiful women, responsible women. The women you see today are childless, immature, and have no reason to grow up. And the reason for that is because they have no fearing of God in their life. They don't understand who God is. But even if you don't understand who God is, doesn't mean he's just going to disappear. Doesn't mean to come the day that you're dead, that you're not going to be held responsible for what you've done. And females will be judged based on how they treat men. So can I have an amen for that? That God will actually judge females based on how they treat men. I got to close this window from the trash trucks on the street. Man, that's loud. So as I was saying, guys, one day females will stand in front of the Almighty, and the Almighty will say, well, you raised your kids all right, but what did you do to your husband? How come you have no husband? Where's the father of your children? And she will say, oh, he was a deadbeat and he ran away. And God will go, no, you didn't. You chased him off. But that said, be right back. I have to go refill my glass of water. Every trait that a man seeks in a female today, every trait, everything that a man wants in a female today, they will only find in a Christian woman. Loving, caring, respectful, kind, courteous, generous, loyal, respectable. Those are only traits you're going to find in a Christian woman, man. So think about it. Marriage was created by God. Family was created by God. Woman was created by God for man, and man was created to love God and protect the earth. So what do all the elements have in common? Seems to me if you want a good family life, you're going to have to become a Christian and live up to those values. Because the only woman in this world today that is worth keeping is a Christian woman. And I'm not talking about the fake Christians out there. I know a lot of men go, there's a lot of Christian women out there that sin. That doesn't make them a real Christian. Just because they label themselves a Christian doesn't mean that they're a Christian. Just because you slap the label on yourself doesn't mean that's what you are. You can't just slap a label on you. It doesn't come from a label. It comes from the way of being. So if you're not being that way, guess what? Then you're not that. You're just not it. If you don't pray 5 times a day towards Mecca, are you really a Muslim? If you studied all your life to become a computer engineer, you think you could build a garden? Huh? Women like to think they can, but they can't. And then they like to try to convince you that they can do it, but they can't. Here's woman's cycle for you. Find guy. Get rid of guy. Have child with guy. Make guy pay alimony and child support. Then get married to new guy or live with new guy to keep child support payments running. There is no love there. There is no caring there. Look at every woman, how she becomes a beast in the divorce court. How the tiniest things seem to matter to her. How you're even being accused of the tiniest things. Oh, he called me fat on February 24th, 2012. And that hurt my feelings all the way up to February 2015. Folks, it is just time for you all to get it together and understand that until you actually grab the reins and take control of your family, your woman, and your government, that you will never be in control. Men, government has been used against you by the women to control you. It is time for you to destroy the government then. Because government was made by you to control the people out there that needed to be controlled. Not to be used against you to educate you on how to raise your family, how to make your payments every month. Okay, government is not there to control your life. It is not God. God is God. Government is government. Stop turning to your government as if it's your Lord and Savior, because it's not. Government has no love for men. And it's been proven time and time again that the females have created the government nowadays. The government has been hijacked by the screaming pussies out there. It's time for men to start taking back the reins of control. Now, MGTOW is a great step forwards, but it's only one fucking step forwards. We got to keep moving forward. We got to keep progressing. I say it's time for men to start taking back their governments. Start shaming females. Start shaming the females. Look, we got women walking down the roads now with slut walks, folks. They're calling themselves sluts walking down the road saying, I'm not asking for it. I'm not asking for it. I'm here, jiggling my tits around. Boing, 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 jiggling my tits. I'm still not asking for it. Let me read you all a couple of headlines that I've been reading this week on in the MGTOW world. Give me a second to find them here. I had them all saved up, and then I moved everything around. Ugh. I'm looking at a picture right now of a female crucified on a cross as if that's supposed to be Jesus. These feminazis are completely out of their fucking minds. How can we all sit there and keep calling them insane, but never arrest them and throw them in asylums for being insane? Why do we keep forgiving them? They don't deserve forgiveness. You know what, guys? I've been talking for you about an hour right now, so I think I'll just cut it off here. Just leave this little MGTOW for what it was, and I'll be back pretty soon with a brand new microphone as well, and we'll have a lot better live streams. So for now, everybody take care, prepare, and be aware. Bye for now. Let's be more